Day 1. The meme. You were only trying to kill a few minutes on your phone. Then one ridiculous video claimed that every bird was actually a government drone. You laugh because it sounds completely impossible. The comments somehow make it even funnier. You share the meme without thinking twice. It feels like another joke that will disappear tomorrow. You head outside and immediately notice birds everywhere. It almost feels like they're watching people instead of looking for food. You stop for a second because one pigeon doesn't move at all. It just keeps staring. You convince yourself it's only your imagination. After all, it was just a meme. You get home and freeze for a moment. Somehow, the same pigeon seems to be outside your window. You close the curtains and laugh at yourself. There's no way a bird followed you home. You try to fall asleep, but the idea refuses to leave your mind. Every tiny sound outside suddenly feels important. You expected yesterday's joke to be over by morning. Instead, something feels different, and day 7 is about to make you question everything. Day 7. The pattern. You tell yourself yesterday was just a coincidence. Then you notice every bird seems to be standing in perfect formation. You look a little closer just to prove yourself wrong. Instead, you swear you see something that looks exactly like a camera lens. You start noticing that wherever cameras are installed, birds aren't far away. It begins to feel less like chance and more like a system. You decide to collect proof before telling anyone. The bird doesn't fly away. It just keeps watching you. You zoom in, and your stomach drops. Feathers don't usually have metal underneath them. You finally tell someone what you found. They laugh the same way you laughed at the original meme. You stop talking about it because nobody believes you. The birds, however, never seem to leave. You stay awake long enough to watch the night sky. Every flock flies in precise lines like aircraft following invisible flight paths. The next morning, a mysterious job offer appears in your mailbox. You never applied, but somehow they already know your name. You decide to accept the interview just to satisfy your curiosity. You have no idea that day 30 will reveal what the birds really are. Day 30. The job. You expect a normal government office. Instead, every hallway is covered with pictures of birds and strange technical diagrams. You ask what the department actually does. The interviewer smiles and says, "We maintain national avian infrastructure." You still have no idea what that means. Curiosity wins, and you sign the paperwork anyway. Your first day starts underground. Hundreds of birds are lined up in charging docks instead of cages. Your entire job is replacing batteries and checking flight systems. Nobody acts like this is unusual. You finally see what's under the feathers. There isn't a single bone inside, only machines. You realize it isn't just pigeons. Every species you've ever seen is being manufactured here. One restricted room holds machines far larger than ordinary birds. Whatever they're preparing for, it isn't surveillance anymore. Without warning, alarms echo through the building. Every bird begins powering on at the exact same moment. Your supervisor calmly says, "Deployment has begun." You watch the sky fill with wings, knowing day 100 is about to change the world. Day 100. The war. You step outside expecting another routine shift. Instead, the sky has become a moving machine. You watch thousands of birds land on the power grid at once. Seconds later, entire neighborhoods go dark. You hear the news blame the outages on wildlife interference. You know that's only half the story. Your boss doesn't call it an accident. He calls it deployment. You realize every bird is receiving commands from one central network. None of them are acting on their own. You decide someone has to expose the truth. You quietly copy everything you can find. One classified file changes everything. The birds weren't built to spy. They were built to replace something. You grab the files and run before anyone notices. The alarms tell you they noticed immediately. You think you've escaped until the sky begins circling above you. Every bird suddenly turns toward you at once. You expect to be arrested. Instead, the birds tell you that your memories have been hidden and day 1000 will reveal who you really are. Day 1000. The truth. You open your eyes after what feels like a dream. The last thing you remember is the bird revealing that your memories were never real. You see your entire life displayed on screens around you. Every memory, every moment, every person you knew was part of a program. You look in the mirror and notice something impossible. The human version of yourself begins to disappear. The scientists explain the truth you were never meant to discover. You were created to understand humans from the inside. The real conspiracy was never that birds were fake. The conspiracy was that humans were the temporary experiment. You step outside and see a world you never knew existed. The human civilization you remembered is now just an ancient story. You are taken to the place where your true species lives. The nest has been waiting for you for 1,000 days. You finally understand why the birds always watched you. They weren't monitoring you. They were waiting for you to remember. The final memory returns, and everything changes. You were never a human discovering the birds. You open your eyes inside the nest where you were created. The human life you remembered was the greatest bird conspiracy ever made.